another video on carrot soup. So I want to make a cheaper version of carrot soup. I normally just use carrots and onions and chicken stock cubes, which I've got over here, and milk and a little bit of salt and pepper. It's very nice considering there's just so few ingredients in it. But I just kind of thought, can we just make it go a little bit further? And I thought we'll do it two ways. So we'll add some potatoes to one of these pans of soup, and actually I could cook it all together and split it in half. Let's not. Let's do two separate pans and let's keep it different. So one pan will have so there's 500 grams worth of carrots in there. There's 250 grams worth of onions, and then we'll put 250 grams worth of potatoes, and then we'll make that soup and add some milk. Add some stock cubes, probably take about 4 stock cubes, add some seasoning, taste it to get it nice, and then get the volume of soup that we get from those extra potatoes in there. And then what we'll do is we will then add this extra liquid to this one and thicken it with flour. Well, a beurre manière, which is a mixture of flour and fat as a thickening agent. So we get the same kind of volume and the same kind of thickness, and then I'll be able to calculate the cost of the potatoes compared to thickening with the beurre manière. And then we'll also get an idea of taste as well. So there's not really much flavour in potatoes, but there's going to be more flavour in this because it's kind of cooked flour and fat, which will add a richness to the soup. So I'm just kind of curious, cost-wise and taste-wise, how they kind of compare. So the bog standard recipe is going to be, I'm going to say it again, 500 grams worth of carrots, 250 grams worth of onions, same in both pans, 500 milliliters of water. In this one we're going to put in 250 grams worth of potatoes, and then we're certainly going to need 2 stock cubes in each, possibly 4, so we'll put 2 stock cubes in each to start off with. We'll cook it, simmer it, so get it nice and soft, and then we'll puree it, add some milk, and turn it into lovely soup. And then we'll have an idea of flavour, what kind of flavour difference there is, and what kind of price difference as well. I'm just curious. To be honest, I think a carrot soup should just be a pure carrot flavour. It should just be carrots, it should be onions, it should be some kind of stock. Chicken preferably, because what I find with vegetable stocks is vegetable stock make soups taste of vegetables rather than the actual. So if I made a mushroom soup and I couldn't get any chicken stock, so I used vegetable stock, and it ended up tasting more of vegetable stock than it did of mushrooms. So preference wise, I think chicken stock, because it's got like more of a neutral flavour than a vegetable stock, which tends to be a quite overpowering vegetable flavour. Fine if you're doing a mixed vegetable soup, but certain flavours of soups would get lost if you would just use vegetable stock. Mixed vegetable soup, fine, use a vegetable stock, that's going to be okay. But something that you just want the pure flavour of carrot or pea, I would just use chicken stock. Unless you're vegetarian or vegan, then use vegetable stock. But anyway, so cook these nice and soft, and I always cook my vegetables in a soup nice and soft so it goes nice and pureed, because I want a nice smooth pureed soup, because pureed soups taste differently than like a thicker soup. There's a different flavour going on, and I like a smooth soup, so you have to cook the vegetables for long enough that the blender can puree them down to a smooth puree. But anyway, so we'll cook these and then we'll be back. So I have added milk, so I've put in 200 milliliters worth of milk. Everything's nice and soft and everything's coming back up to the boil, so we need to puree, hopefully, and we'll do. Everything's nice and hot now, so we can move this off turn that off, put that one there, put that one there. So we can puree this down through relative ease. Oh, I forgot to say, I haven't peeled the carrots because I couldn't be bothered. So yes, 200 milliliters of milk. We'll give it a puree, we'll give it a taste. We'll see if we need to let it down a little bit further, make it a bit thinner. liquid, so 100 millilitres of hot water-ish. Right, so I'm going to take, that was 200 millilitres in there, so it's going to take 200 millilitres. And give it a quick taste. It'll certainly need another stock cube in. Yeah, it certainly needs another stock cube in. Possibly even two. And it needs a bit more water, I think, as well. Yeah, it needs a bit more water. Yeah, so I reckon another 100 millilitres of water, which is about that much. So with soups, when you're pureeing them with a hand blender, it needs a certain amount of liquid in there to actually get it smooth. Like you'll never, if it was less liquid in here, it wouldn't get as much smooth. So you need to add liquid to get it smoother, because they're just not powerful enough, really. Well, powerful enough to do the job that you want them to do. They're fine to be doing like this type of thing, but you're never going to get a smooth vegetable puree from a steak blender without there being sufficient liquid in there. That's what I was trying to say. Alright, another quick taste. Another stock cube. Right, so we know that this had an extra 300 millilitres of liquid in, and so we need to put that in the other one, and we need to put 2 stock cubes in the other one. We've already got the milk in there, so I'll just turn it up a little bit and get another 300 millilitres of water in there. We'll puree that down, and then we'll thicken it up with the flour and the fat, and then we'll give it a taste. So I'll use this glass that I put the milk in. So that was 200 millilitres into there. I'm trying to be as scientific as possible. And then that's about 300 millilitres ish. And then what we can do, alright, so we need to measure that out. I'm going to put that, it's not going to make a mess. There. Right, so let's get the yield from this soup. See how much we've made. We have made about 1.8 litres. So what we need to do now is get that up to 1.8 litres and the consistency of this one. And then I'll have to do a quick calculation, and we'll work out the cost. I don't think there's going to be much cost in it, to be honest. So that can come off. That can go there. This can go here. Lid on just to keep that warm, because I'm going to have it for my lunch. I'm starving. So, puree this. litres now. So try and mix some of this. Although that never works out. So right, what we need to do, right, so this needs to, we need to get this up to 1.8 litres by adding more water and then thicken it up without making too much of a mess. That's out of the pan, and then just look there. So hot water in the kettle, which I did have somewhere back at the stove. So that needs, so that's out of interest, that's 1.5, so it needs another 300 millilitres, or just slightly less. About that much. So get that out of the way. And then we need to heat this and thicken it. So I'll heat this, I'll thicken it, I'll calculate how much. See, it's a lot thinner, so that's why we need to thicken it up. So I'll thicken it, I'll heat it up, I'll thicken it up, and we'll do a calculation, and then we'll be back to do a costing and a taste. Right, so we're back, and we've done a costing. So there's not much in it. There's not much in it, cost-wise. So this one comes in at, so this is the one thickened with a roux, a beurre manier, flour and fat, and it comes in at 79 pence, and this one comes in at, which is the one with the potato in, and that comes in at 82p. So there's like 3p difference, which I didn't think. I thought the potato one would be a lot cheaper. But anyway, so we've got a similar kind of consistency, we've got a similar, we haven't got a similar kind of colour. So this is lighter. And that will be because of the more liquid in it to kind of compensate for the liquid that was in the potato. And this one should be richer because it's got an extra like 35 grams worth of fat in it, so it should be richer in flavour. That's nice. That's lovely. Yeah, you can, yeah, from doing soup side to side, you can tell the difference in flavour. So I can certainly tell that there's a roux in there, but only because I know there's a roux in there, I can tell there's a roux in there, if that makes sense. Yep, nice. Nice again. So, there's nothing in it, really, cost-wise. You either thicken it with potato or you thicken it with a roux to kind of bulk it out a little bit further. Oh yeah, I suppose I should do a costing of, break it kind of down, shouldn't I? Hang on, I'll pause and I'll do a breakdown of costs compared to carrot soup and all that kind of stuff. You know, like, would you be better just putting more carrots in? How much are carrots compared to? Hang on, I'll pause. Right, so if you were just to make a pure carrot soup without thickening it with a beurre manier or putting potatoes in, you'll save yourself about 10p. You save it, you know, there's an extra 10p's worth of, and it costs you to put the same amount of carrots in. It costs you, it's about the same. It's about the same, so it's not even worth making a like cutting down the amount of carrot and bulking up with the amount a beurre manier, thickening agent, or potatoes. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Obviously, if you've only got so many carrots and you want to make the soup go a little bit further, and you can't, you've got potatoes but no more carrots, it's kind of worth, you can do that. But if you're going to make soup from scratch, I just use carrots, onions, stock, milk and water and a bit of salt and pepper. No need to put any potatoes in it, no need to thicken it with a roux, beurre manier, flour and butter. So there we go, that was kind of quite interesting. I'll put the recipes in the description, and we'll put like I'll do a comparison as well for like just a whole carrot soup by itself without any additional potato or a beurre manier. But if I'm honest, I think I prefer a carrot soup that's just carrots. Although with the addition of extra fat in this one, it's just like a slightly bit richer, like smoother kind of flavour to it. But oh, very nice. Like, I recommend all 3 recipes, to be honest. But you're not really saving yourself that much money. We're talking pence. Unless you're making hundreds of litres, then it's not really kind of like worth it. But if you haven't got just quite enough carrots for the recipe, you can bulk it out with a beurre manier or a little bit of potato. There we go. A success.